So last week's chapter, we get to see Kuma, Ginny, and Ivankov get out of God Valley, go straight to Sorbet Kingdom. We move forward into Ginny and Kuma's adulthood, how they're living together, helping out the villagers. Kuma is taking on their pain and everything. We get to see the origins of the Revolutionary Army, how Kuma joins them and everything, and finally the chapter ends off on Ginny getting kidnapped. This week's chapter picked up right where last week's ended off, where we get to see Ginny's fate, we get to see Bonnie's birth, we learn more about the Celestial Dragons, we get to see more activities between Kuma and the Revolutionaries, and finally how Kuma and Bonnie live together. I will say one thing though, this was a heavy chapter involving themes never covered by Oda before, so buckle right in. But before any of that, you like One Piece, we like One Piece, press that like button, it's free. Share with a friend, leave a comment, help press that subscribe button, it's also free, and it would help push my small channel in the algorithm. Now this chapter opens up with the revelation that Ginny was kidnapped by the world government to become a Celestial Dragon's wife. In fact, her whole platoon got wiped out by the world government in a cheap but effective surprise attack. In response, the revolutionaries became more violent, Kuma became more intense in battles. We see more shots of the revolutionaries fighting hard, including scenes where Kuma is ending conflicts all on his own. In fact, we even see that one scene where the revolutionaries pick up people off the Goa Kingdom that we saw in the Sabo flashback. Now the horrifying fact that we learned in this chapter is that Bonnie is the child that was born from Ginny and the Celestial Dragon. Yeah, Oda is actually going there. Now if you're old enough, you understand what the implications of this are. The chapter then moves on to 2 years later, where we find out that Ginny actually contracted a mortal disease called the Sapphire Scale. It's like a disease that's even more rare than the Amber Lead Syndrome that Child Law actually had, if you guys remember back in Dressrosa. It basically makes it so that if you get into contact with natural light, whether it's sunlight or moonlight, then your whole body turns blue and harder and becomes all scaly. Now listen to how bad it got for Ginny. She became unrecognizable, that's how bad her condition was, so the Celestial Dragons deemed her too ugly to be there, and because of that they released her. Mind you, they're the reason why she got it in the first place, so that right there is kind of hypocritical. Ginny then goes to the Sorbet Kingdom, leaving Bonnie with the elders from the island, before then calling the Revolutionary Army from inside of the church where she used to live with Kuma. Now this part of the chapter just gets really heavy. Ginny is over here trying to say goodbye to everybody because she knows she's about to die, so she's at least trying to tell Kuma like, yo Kuma, I love you and all that, but Kuma right away identifies her location, teleports himself to where she's at, missing the part where she's saying I love you to him. And when he gets there, he just sees her there lying dead, which is like the most heartbreaking thing ever. Like imagine you were about to marry your girl before she gets kidnapped and enslaved by the Celestial Dragons before getting she contracts a deadly disease. She tries to tell you I love you, but you miss it, and you just find her lying dead where you guys used to live. Not to mention with a baby from the same people that had the both of you enslaved. Kuma then buries her himself, before then raising Bonnie as his own with no hesitation. Unfortunately, Bonnie also developed the Sapphire Scale, so Kuma had to take time off from the Revolutionary Army. And because of the Sapphire Scale, Kuma ended up calling her Jewelry Bonney. Look, the rest of the chapter actually just involves a bunch of heartbreak, where the doctor's like, yo, she only got like 5 years left to live, but Bonnie misunderstands it as like, oh, 5 years until I'm cured. But like, how do you explain to a little girl that's like, no, 5 years until you're dead, you know what I mean? Of course Kuma's not gonna tell her that, but regardless, the chapter ends right here. The 3 main takeaways of this chapter is that number 1, this was the darkest chapter in all of One Piece. Like, the Celestial Dragons are irredeemable. Number 2, Kuma's backstory is the saddest, easily sadder than Robin's. And number 3, Jewelry Bonney has Celestial Dragon blood, which makes her mission against the government even more personal. This is perhaps more reason for her to join the Straw Hats or the Revolutionaries, as they share a common goal right there. Either way, yeah, there's a break next week, but tell yourself that Oda barely finished this chapter. He needs his breaks so that he could deliver more comfortably. Now if you enjoyed this video, why not press the like button? It's free. Share with a friend, leave a comment, I'll press that subscribe button, it's also free, and it would help push my small channel in the algorithm. Besides that, the comment question of the day is, how do you think Bonnie got cured? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, like, share, and subscribe, and have a good one.